Hello, my name is Adam Stower and I am the illustrator of Spaceboy by David Walliams. And today I'm going to show you how I draw Spaceboy. So here I am at my desk and I have my copy of Spaceboy. There it is. And today I'm going to show you how to draw Spaceboy himself. Here he is inside the book. That's what he looks like. So get yourself some paper and something to draw with. I'm going to loosely sketch out with a pencil and then I'm going to go over it with some pen. So here we go. I'm going to start sketching out the rough shapes. If you want to pause the video at any time to catch up, you can. So the most recognizable thing I think about Spaceboy is his helmet. He's got this kind of elongated helmet like that. And it's got a slot in it, which is mirrored. And he's got on the top here, he's got a antennae. Then we put his neck in. So I'm going to just loosely sketch this out quite lightly. And his body is going to come down here. Now he's got a control panel on the front of his chest, like this, with some various buttons and dials and things on it. And he has got a breathing tube or some mysterious tube connected to his helmet. Now then, I'm going to draw him in a slightly more of an action stance. So he'll have a little twist to his body. So we're going to have one arm coming out here like this, and one like this. It's kind of like the sort of stance where he's anticipating something happening. He's sort of braced, rather than having just standing straight on. Can you see I'm just sort of loosely putting down these rather feathery lines to establish his legs and his arms. His feet might come down like this. One leg may be slightly bent, one slightly straight. Let's have this arm out like this and his hand here. Like that. Can you see he's a bit of an action stance? And of course he's got this wonderful cape, this silver cape, which will come down behind him somewhere here. So that's enough for me to sketch it out. Now I'm going to go over it with a pen like this. So we're going to start off with his helmet. And you might notice that I don't exactly stick to the sketchy lines that I've put down, because they're just a guide. Now, I'll put a few more details in while I'm doing this. He has an accident. I don't want to give too much away, but he has an accident, and there's some soot and dirty sort of marks on his helmet. His neck's there. For the drawings for Spaceboy, there's lots of action in the story, and so I wanted the illustrations to be quite lively. So I've made them quite sketchy in the book, which I quite like doing, really. They're a bit looser. There's a bit more life to them and they're very fun to do. I particularly enjoy designing Spaceboy. It's great fun to draw. I really like sci-fi and stories from space, especially sort of vintage sci-fi. So this story was an absolute blast for me to illustrate. I loved it. Now he's got his arms in his spacesuit. He's got a silver spacesuit and he's got these sort of elbow patches. And he's got gloves. I'm going to have his hands coming out like this. But again, I'm being quite sketchy with the way I'm drawing his hands. But can you see that I'm sort of making him look as though he's prepared that something maybe is about to happen. He's kind of anticipating something happening, so I like to bring expression into his hands and his body, so his hands are kind of like splayed, ready for action. Let's put a few more of these dirty marks in, because he has just had this crash. Right, his legs. Again, keep the line quite nice and loose. Get lots of energy in those lines. It's got some knee pads. A few more dirty marks like that. And he's got silver boots to match his silver helmet and his silver cape and his silver gloves. And there's his boots like that. Now, to make it dramatic, let's have some wind blowing this cape. So it's coming down this way, it's behind him, and it's sort of billowing a little bit. So we have some folds like that. It's a bit ragged. Again, he's been in this accident. He's outdoors, so give him some ground to sit on, or stand on, I should say. Some grass and bits and pieces. And that's the cape coming down behind him like that. Now he's looking pretty good, but now all he needs is a little bit of tone. So I'm using one of these pens. They're kind of a felt tip, and they've got a brush tip on one end and a fine liner on the other. They're very handy for sketching, and they're very good for putting in some quick tone on a drawing like this. Don't worry too much if the black ink smudges a little bit, but it is good to test out black pens. If you ever want to do like this, add tone over the top, do a little test first to see whether the black ink of your black liner is waterproof or not. Because if it isn't, then this would smudge much more, and it might ruin your drawing, which can be really frustrating if you've done a really nice drawing and then when you add the tone, it all goes smudgy. So check that out first. Always test your materials. Now, can you see I'm leaving little white gaps here to make him look sort of silvery? Little highlights. And I'm doing the lines in the same direction that the cape is billowing to make it nice and lively. Colour in his boots, bit of shadow under him to make him anchor him to the ground. A few bits of grass because he's outside. And there we have Spaceboy. Always sign your work too. You should be proud of it, because I'm sure your drawing's fantastic. And there we go.